Why should we love God? Is it because He created us or blessed us? If so, then we did not ask Him to create us. And also, there are many who are not blessed from multiple angles. Yeah, so there's assumptions in that question. A lot of assumptions in that question. Where do we start? First up, we did not ask to be created. How can you be so sure about that? I mean, yes, in your conscious memory, you don't remember asking to be created or doing anything to come into be the way you are. But does that negate that any choice was made at any point of our evolution, of our development, that led for us to be who we are today? Can we negate that all out? Do we have sufficient memories to the contrary? If I could say that I remember every single thing for the entire life of my consciousness, and that's a very loaded statement, because what does that mean for the entire life of my consciousness? How long have I been conscious? You can answer that since I was conceived. Okay, you don't have any memories of that. You don't have many memories of your the life spent in the womb, do you? Of course not. Most people don't. And any decisions that you made there, even if there were any, you wouldn't know, would you? You say, no. I was conscious when I was born into this world. Were you? Really? What do you mean by that? No. My consciousness began from the time where I have memory of life. So you're telling me, and that's what? Your earliest memories go back to when? When you were 3, 4? And that too, like sporadic 1 or 2 memories of that age? A little more as you're growing up, and then a whole lot more as you're growing up? What does that say? So you're telling me you were not conscious as a 1-year-old? Then when did this light of consciousness all of a sudden come in? So there's a lot of questions there. And to have such firm beliefs that I never asked to be created, I wouldn't be too sure. I would not be too sure. And then I can't comment on whether it is a religious injunction for you to love God for the religion that you subscribe to or the understanding of religion that you subscribe to. What I can tell you is there are psychological benefits of holding on to that spiritual belief system, especially if that spiritual belief system is centered around an individual God who responds, who loves, and is to be loved, who wants the best for you, who wants for you to be the best version of yourself. And therefore, in reciprocation of His love, you love Him. I can talk about the psychological benefits of such a belief system. At the same time, I can talk about the psychological harms, the psychological dangers of similar belief systems as to how evil they may be, and the psychological benefits and harms, dangers in their own place as a culture we're experiencing. How religion can give us an incredible amount of good with respect to the upliftment and development of our society, that it holds people's morality in check as to how our interpersonal behavior, we don't rip each other's heads off, at least not every day, even though we have tendencies to do so, because we're held in check by centuries of tradition rooted in religion, rooted in an understanding of God. So there is that, yes, that every single person has to acknowledge. That's like fact. But then there's also a similar level of fact that we do rip each other's heads off as well, that too, in the name of God. So there's both dimensions to it. And a judicious addressal of the subject, a judicious talk on the different dimensions of this, the different psychological dimensions of this belief, would obviously require that we address all those dimensions, the good and the bad. And when we do address the bad, when we do address the dangers and evils, as we have been able to do intellectually, especially over the course of the past 2 centuries, the benefits that then this system of beliefs has to offer, informed by those dangers, will be way more mature, will be much more secure, which will have a whole lot more to offer with respect to the development of society, the development of individuals, if it is very, very clear. So to put it very in a very personalized sense, that for you as a person, if you are aware of what the benefits of loving God as you believe in Him, the benefits there are for you psychologically, if you're aware of them, that's good. But you need to be aware of the dangers of that belief as well, as to how we are prone as human beings to use precisely those beliefs for evil. And I'm not even talking ISIS particularly. Yes, that too. Also in our daily lives, in our one-to-one interactions with other people, how we judge each other, how we, out of a sense of superiority, because we may be apparently more religious than others, how we undermine others, how we put them down, take advantage of them, exploit them, and feel that we're justified simply because we have this sense of entitlement on the basis of a claim to religiosity or spirituality, whatever the case may be. So these are just surface examples, and it runs much deeper than that. It's way more intricate than that, as to how we can use one of the questions that I just answered, going for charity when my responsibilities to my parents are not fulfilled. That's destructive. If that charity especially is in the name of God, then I would feel oh so holy when I have subjected my closest relationships to the greatest torture at my own hands. And that messes things up. Right? So there's a lot of layers to this discussion. Maybe at some other point we can talk about this in a whole lot more detail than